Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the place to be each and every Sunday night. We are here once again for season 17 of the Sunday Night Lights, live and exclusive on Top Split TV. Here, live from Okayama for round one. I am your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me once again for this new season of Sunday Night Lights is the chaotic one himself, Mr. Corey Steinhauser. Corey, fantastic to be back with this bumper crop of new drivers for season 17.
Yeah, exactly it, Alex. And a 4,500 strength of field to kick things off. This should be a fantastic race indeed. It'll be interesting to see how the drivers handle the new tyre model here.
Yeah, mate, there's been so many cars out on track this week. Everyone checking it out as we see Tim Hendrickson on screen getting those tyres warmed up. He wants to be ready to go for his hot laps, of course. Returning high flyer in Julian O'Fray. Put on one of the best finishes we've ever seen last season. He's back here as well. Number 3 here tonight is Mr. Gorkrotch, also doing a bit of weaving, getting those tyres going, of course. All important with this new tyre model is to make sure those tyres are ready to go. Flame Antoniata similarly up the back straight. Oh, a bit of net code issues for him. Tell you what, Corey, it's all here to play for this season as we see the guys out there doing everything they can to get some heat in those tyres before they start the time lapse. Because tonight, folks, we have the biggest strength of field of the week by a long way at 4,499, just under that magic 4,500 mark. Certainly the biggest strength of field this week, this season so far, and for Monday Night Lights history, if I'm not mistaken. So everything on the line here tonight, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Alex. And this has all contributed to the new changes in the tyre model. A lot of drivers finding that it's driving a lot like the old Skippy, but with some new challenges. And I think it's right up a lot of people's alleys. I can see that we got Ben Snell in here who's not afraid to go sideways when he needs to. And I think this tyre model really speaks to him quite personally there, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see him back on track, sporting the Drift SA logo there on the side of his Team Milo Skippy, of course. Ben returning favourite of the ANZ club. Looking forward to big things from him this year, this season. And in fact, I think he, along with, where is he, Mr. Gorkrotcher and Stuart Adcock, one that I am not familiar with, if I can just find him on track there, is they are the 3 ANZ drivers in this field. The rest, of course, overseas international drivers looking to come and score the big points that are here on offer tonight, Corey.
Yeah, and someone you forgot to mention there, Alex, is we got the egg and bakey winner, Kevin Henderson, back as well, sneaking in as the 15 car in this field. So it'll be good to see what Kevin Henderson can do here this season.
How could I forget the stalwart of ANZ Skip Barber soft races, Mr. Kevin Henderson, on screen at the moment. Done well. He's got his I rating back up to 37.82. Of course, to get into this 17 car field tonight, you needed 3,702 just to get a spot on the grid. So as the guys start setting their first flying lap times of 43.3 from Grebstad and his opening foray. Of course, the laps will get much quicker the second time round, although Vascalampi now jumping up to the top of the pops with a 43.1. I tell you what, the really quick guys that I've seen here this week have done in the 42s for their second lap. Fahim Antoniadis and Hendrickson are both in the 42s on their first lap around here, Corey. This is outstanding driving already.
And that just means that we're going to get some very exciting racing here tonight, Alex. We could possibly see times in the 41s here in just qualifying alone, let alone. So it's going to be very interesting to see what these guys can get out of the cars with this new tyre model.
Yeah, mate, all the talk of the town, the hype is real for these new Skippies this season. The tyre model is certainly not perfect, but it's a big step forward from last season in the opinion of many of the old guys that had abandoned the series last season are returning in numbers. You know, we've seen up to 9 splits in a single race this week. Several times it has cracked 8. We've got over 100 drivers registered for this race, which is massive at this time at this part of the world. So, look, it's great to see the Skippy alive and breathing once again, and it's all happening here, folks, every week, right here on Top Split TV for the Sunday Night Lights as the guys start rounding out their second laps. Anton Yardis not setting a second time, as you see Hendrickson now coming around to do his second lap. Let's hide that one and do the quali compare there. See if Hendrickson can, from Team Torpedo, can in fact beat the 42.8 as he rounds the final corner, the creatively named last corner at 11 now, coming across the line with a 42.7, jumps to the top of the pops. Well driven there, Mr. Hendrickson. Toykala now, he could only manage third behind Anton Yardis. What a first lap by Anton Yardis with a excuse me, a 42.8, has managed to hang on to P2 with his opening lap, Corey. That's outstanding.
That is absolutely amazing there, Alex. I'm not sure what kind of tyre warming preparation he did for that lap, but I don't think I've ever seen a lap that quick on a first lap in a very, very long time.
Mate, I can tell you, I haven't done one of those on either of my laps, so to do it on the first, in my books, is outstanding, as some of the guys still rounding out the final stages of quali now. Just a minute left on the clock, most of them probably sitting on cool-down laps, as we see Anthony Catt come around to finish off his final lap from UK and I. Of course, he's done a 43.1. That's not going to get him near the pointy end, I don't think. And he remains in 13th position here tonight. I tell you what, this is a very strong field when you see the likes of Anthony Catt, car plate number 8, and also down in P13, Julian Affray, who's sitting there preparing, perhaps doing a practice start there. Car number 2 here tonight. He's got 6K I rating on the table, plenty of skin in the game, and he's going to start from P9. So expect the driver that is Julian O'Fray to put on a show here tonight, although it is tough to pass here. You know, one of the big comments that you'll see around the traps at the moment is you really have to earn your passes. Even around a track like Okayama with a big back straight, you might get drafted, I should say, to get beside your opponent, but it won't mean an automatic pass for you, as it has done in previous seasons. As the clock for qualification winds down, we will take a look at our grid here tonight for round 1 of the Sunday Night Lights from Okayama International Circuit. Tim Hendrickson representing Team Torpedo with a 42.7. Fantastic time from Tim there to grab pole. Fahim Antoniadis from UK and I representing Thrustmaster Mivano with a 42.8 on his first lap. Outstanding. Expect some pace there. Those two have got some history in the warm-up race as well. P3, Sammy J. Toykala, last season's champion, of course, back again for another shot starting from P3. P4, his Finnish compatriot Vaskilampi, the official season winner last season in P4. Ben Snell continues his run of excellent qualifying, representing Team Milo in P5 and leading ANZ driver. Powell Herman from Eastern Europe there, or Central Europe, I should say, in P6. Christian Kabanka, great to see Christian up early from Breaking Bad Motorsport in P7. P8, Tim Gorkrocher, Top Split Racing's own. P9, Julian O'Fray. P10, Lee Anderson from UK and I. Håkon Grebstad from Team Ovaltine in P11. P12, ANZ's own Stuart Adcock. Anthony Catt in P13. P14, Tobias Olsen from Scandinavia. P15, Kevin Henderson from ANZ. Bob Van Catwick in P16. And P17, Cristobal Otero Romano across Simart Competition. Also on Twitch if you want to check him out, K34 Sim Racing. Was not expecting him tonight, but great to see him back out on track. As we said, the strength of field is 44.99, bumper crop out there. Track temp out there for those of you interested, 28.3, so it should be lightning fast out there.
The race starts.
Thank you, Sody. The race does start in about 15 seconds now as the guys start getting inside the helmets now, ready to hit turn 1. Just Ben Snell waiting to grid as he does so now. The yellow light means they're getting ready. The revs are indeed rising. Red lights rev. Green lights means go, and we're away for season 17 of Sunday Night Lights as they run down to turn 1 here, Corey.
And it looks like that we've already got Tim Hendrickson taking a commanding lead into turn number 1 there, Alex. Getting an absolutely excellent start over for him, Antonades. And it looks like we've got a bit of two-wide racing towards the back. I'm currently looking at Tim Gorkrocher as he's looking at the battle between Christian Kabanga and Powell Herman.
Yeah, 2x2 they go on the run down through the Moss S into Atwood for the first time. The most important corner on the track there. Hendrickson running a little wide, perhaps worried about those behind him, running a little bit deep under brakes, although the tyres here do take 4 or 5 laps to be fully up to pressure and temperature as we see this big pack of streaming cars coming up the back straight into the hairpin at turn 5 for the first time. Looks pretty sedate there. It looks like Henderson's going to defend around the inside there. Cuts nice and tight to that inside curbing there. Fahim Antoniadis tucks in behind there as deep in behind there are still 2x2. They go, oh, very loose in the rear there. Was that, who was that, the yellow car back there? Was it Henderson? It might have been, or it might have been Grebstad, hard to say, but the guys have all still made it cleanly. Well, there's 2 in the pits. Catwick and Cat both look to be in the pits after that first lap there, Corey.
Yeah, I think Anthony Cat actually ran wide going through Revolver, which is unfortunate for him. I didn't actually catch it properly. It was in the back of my shot and I couldn't make out which blue car it was. But at the moment, Tim Hendrickson's still out front, running a little bit wide, and so is someone else back there in the field as well. As we got a spinner on the front straight there, Alex. That is the 9 car of Stuart Adcock.
Stuart Adcock, the ANZ driver, he's into the wall there. I did catch a replay, and yeah, you were right. It was Cat, I think it was. Hang on, we're just going to grab a look there. Oh, he's into Grebstad through the final corner. Let's put Grebstad out into the kitty litter and put Adcock into the corner. Did Grebstad get away with it? Yeah, it looks like he might have done. So he lives to fight another day, but that's a nasty way. Very tough to go 2x2 through that final corner there, Corey.
Yeah, it is very difficult, Alex, especially if you want to try and get a good run down that long front straight. I mean, it's not as long as the straight at the back here, where the drivers are now, but it's still very important to get a good run onto that main straight. As we see now, for him, Antonades going for an inside move on Tim Hendrickson there for the lead, going through the hairpin at the end of the straight. It looks like for him, couldn't quite get the drive out of the inside of the corner, and Tim Hendrickson was able to hold it around the outside there, Alex.
Yeah, Antoniadis putting all sorts of pressure now as they head up the short straight now into Redmond at turn 8. Under the bridge now, great shot there as they come single file now, but all sorts of pressure from Antoniadis on the back. The Toy Carla and Vascalampi in hot pursuit, and we've got Snell sitting back there looking pretty in P5. Slight gap then back to Herman in P6. In fact, it's about 8 tenths, 8.5. He'll just be sitting there nice and quietly hoping that the front 4 or the guys in front of him will help tow him away and they can sit comfortably there and battle it out for the last couple of laps. But battling it out, they are up the front. We've got Antoniadis now poking the nose up the inside of Hendrickson and pulling out there. Decide, oh, Vascalampi right on his compatriot's tail and Toy Carlin in the 7 car there. Those two very, very close on and off the track, it seems. And these front 5 now really setting a cracking pace already into the, what have they got? They got a 43.5 already, which is fairly flying here considering they're spending much of the lap beside each other rather than minus turn, Corey.
Yeah, and what's very interesting for me, Alex, is that we've completed 2 laps here so far, but Tim Hendrickson doesn't have an official lap in the books. I've noticed that the past couple of laps, he's actually been running wide in that final corner. As we see now, for him, Antonades coming up to his inside again to try and see if he can get a move that'll stick. Looks like he's got a nose ahead as he forces Hendrickson out wide and takes a commanding lead there, Alex.
Yeah, got it done there, did Anton Yardis. Hendrickson left him the right amount of racing room. You know what's fascinating to me, Corey, is even with all this battling, this top five's been able to pull nearly 2 seconds on P6, as we see in the background there. You've got Paul Herman on a pack of about 4 cars there with Gorkrocher, Kavanka and O'Fray. Gorkrocher poking the nose up the inside there at turn 8 at Redmond there as they go through Hobbs now. Another first gear type right-hander. These guys putting on quite a show here tonight as Gorkrocher, one of Aussie's best skippy drivers, really looking to put pressure all over the back of the 16 car of Herman there, Corey.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing the racing we've got here. We've got 2 battle groups of 5 cars, both in the leading pack and in the chase pack. And behind them, it looks like we've got 3 cars in the back there, headed up by who I think is Kevin Henderson. It looks like they're starting to drop Grebstad off the back of them a little bit. But Henderson and Romain are looking like they're wanting to try and work together a little bit, maybe to catch this second chase back there, Alex.
Yeah, I didn't see if Grebstad caught the wall on the exit of that turn, the final corner, turn 11 excursion that he took, but he's certainly deep in the pack now, all the way back in P13 as we jump back up the front now. Have a look at this lead pack of 5 who have cleared out, it seems, by another second. They're almost out to 3 seconds now from that chasing pack, which is now led by Tim Gorkrocher with O'Fray tucked in neatly behind him. These guys seem to be working fairly smartly there. The guys in behind still battling. It's going to be costing them time. That compromised entry there of Gorkrocher there with O'Fray around the outside now as they head through Revolve once again 2x2 now as it tightens up. This very tricky sweeping third gear or second gear corner in this current build, of course. These guys making it work 2x2, but not making it work quickly enough because they've dropped a further half a second behind as they go 2x2 again. O'Fray getting it done on the inside of Redmond there. Up through Hobbs now, turn 9. Gorkrocher coming back at him. I tell you what, they're going to swap everything. Positions, maybe a little bit of pain at some stage with these guys. Oh, it's very compromised through there. And again, they're dropping time at a rate of knots here. This front 5 just driving away as we see. Even then, Gorkrocher getting a toe in the dirt on the outside. Not only will this be dropping the front pack, it'll be encouraging the likes of Henderson, who's now just a second behind this pack, to get involved in and get amongst the racing, Corey.
And either my maths is wrong here, Alex, or we've actually dropped the 16 of Power Herman from this second pack. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he was right up there in that second pack, and now he's off in the distance behind Grebstad. But as you said, Alex, these guys are definitely being caught, and Henderson could probably smell a little bit of blood in the water, seeing how hard they're battling. He is right on the tail of this group now, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Just half a tenth. So what was a battle pack of 4 is now a battle pack of 7, led by Gorkrocher now as they run down the back straight. Jumping up the front now as we see the guys go through the tight hairpin. Now turn 5, coming back down through Revolver now. This tricky undulating section of the circuit now as Antoniadis leads Hendrickson, Toykala, Vascalampi and Snell still in this train of 5 cars. The times haven't really started to heat up too much now. The best time on the front pack there, 42.8 so far, really only matching quali pace, which says a lot about how quickly these guys got around the track for quali. They're only yet to match their quali time, although they are running full race fuel. Some 3.4 seconds behind. We've got the second train of cars now led by Tim Gorkrocher with Julian O'Fray tucked in behind, and Christian Kavanka up very early in his local time from the US and doing very well there in P8, and in fact he's down 1 spot actually, but that is a very busy looking pack of about 7 cars there on the run into turn 1 there, Corey.
It will definitely be very intimidating to look in your mirror and see this pack coming towards you, Alex, especially if they can get themselves sorted out and get on an attack towards this front pack, which we'd be hoping to see. But as I'm saying that, it looks like for him, Antoniadis has actually just done the best time for that last lap with a 42.842, leading from the front, for lack of a better term, as you like to put it. And we got a little bit of a battle going on in this second pack again. Alfrey just up on the inside of Kabanga there. Alex.
Yeah, looks like they're going 2 by 2 up the back straight with Gorkrotcher all the while now. Out to about a second's lead, and no one tucked in behind him in the draft. They're all too worried about maintaining their position. Tell you what, they better be worried about the flying Tim Gorkrotcher who gets through. Turn 5. Oh, it's Cristobal Terramon. Oh, they're nose to tail behind. It's all come unstuck. They're into the hairpin. Oh, they're all doing donuts and stuff to get back on the track. Let's check out that. I think it was Roman that we should be riding on board here. We'll go check out the closer angle there as we slow it down. Oh, it's Henderson over into Roman that's unsettled him. Put him on the grass, and he's had no chance to pull that. But then Henderson's hit the 6 car as well. He's gone into the 6 car there of who's that? I'm struggling to see who it is.
Lee Anderson.
Lee Anderson, and then they've spewed across. Grebstad being caught up in the middle of that as well. Checked up. That pack has been decimated there just by that one little move, and it's all come unstuck into the hairpin. Has been so often the case here this week, Corey.
Yeah, and it's just one little simple mistake like that, Alex, and you can ruin the race of about 5 guys, especially when you are racing that close. It's a bit of a ding-dong battle when that kind of stuff happens, but unfortunately that is a part of racing, as that battle pack has gone from 7 cars down to 3 now, Alex.
Yeah, back up the front we've got Hendrickson taking a nice tight line through Atwood curve there at turn 4. Of course, we see the most important circuit, most important corner on the circuit now as they go 2 by 2 up the back straight now. Antoniadis taking the defensive line into the head. Oh, almost contact there. Not sure if there was contact there. They've got to get it done. They are side by side through the hairpin there. Down into revolver now. Is there enough overlap? It doesn't look like it is. They've gone line astern again, but certainly Hendrickson letting Antoniadis know that he's certainly there and he's plenty happy to race for this win here tonight, Corey.
And everyone wants to win this race, Alex. Apart from it being, for the championship in SNL, this is very, very good points for the overall championship as well, especially considering we generally get the highest strength of field for the week, and these guys all know it and they're all hungry for some good results here tonight, Alex.
Absolutely. The winner tonight takes home a full 253 official championship points, along with the SNL Cup for round 1. Plenty of points, I-rating and reputation on the line here as Antoniadis and Hendrickson go through line astern once again through turn 1. You've got Toykala, Bascalampi and Snell all licking their lips, perhaps waiting for the closing stages of this race, of these laps to count down. We've got just under 7 laps remaining. I tell you what, bit of a drama unfolding here tonight. These guys working very hard for the money, so to speak. We've got Tim Gorkrotcher now. He's about 9/10 ahead of Julian O'Fray and Christian Kabanka. What is left of that fairly decimated second racing pack there as we move back from Kabanka behind him about 5 seconds, who got through okay of that, all that mess, just had to pretty much pull up to a complete halt, is Hawken Grebstad. Cristobal Altera Roman, who, he was right in there in amongst it. I couldn't really, we'd have to have a full debrief on whose fault that was, but I think he got put into the grass for the main part and had very little say in where he went. Pal Herman, as you say, back there in P11. Kevin Henderson, having had his run through the pits, now back in P12. Lee Anderson all the way down in P13 after being involved in that. He was that mystery car number 6 that I found so hard to name. And Stuart Adcock, who is perhaps looking in his mirrors now as the final car on the lead lap, as we can just see off in the background the leaders starting to show. And we have got a couple of retirements in Tobias Olsen, Anthony Catt and Bob Van Catwick, all having retired from this evening's race. But back up the front now, Corey. Henderson still tucked in behind, just making sure he's in the mirrors of Antoniadis there. Bascalampi and Toykala there making the runnings there. Oh, I tell you what, that's a very wide line on the exit of turn 1 there as they head through turn 2 now from Antoniadis, using every bit of the circuit there to make sure he's got the optimal run out, Corey.
And that is what you got to do as a race car driver at a track like this, Alex, is you got to use every single piece of road but you've also got to have your head on a little bit of a swivel, watching for that attack to come from any angle, especially if you leave the door open for long enough. But if I was Stuart Adcock, I would probably be a little bit worried seeing this snarling pack of 5 catching up to him in the mirror. Although it looks like he's gained a little bit of time on them the last lap because of their battling. Big move on the outside there for Hendrickson has almost come unstuck, with Toy Carla having a sniff up the inside as well. Looks like Hendrickson was able to hold on to that second position though. But these drivers are definitely putting it all on the line here right now, Alex.
Yeah, the elbows are out, that's for sure, Corey. It looked like Hendrickson was trying to keep Anton Yardis tight to the driver's right on the entrance to the hairpin there as they come now through the final stages with just the 5 laps remaining, the final stages of lap 9 I should say, and Anton Yardis was having none of it. He wanted a bit more angle into the corner as the Team Torpedo driver looked to keep the Mivano racer nice and tight, trying to optimise his passing opportunity, or at least the pressure that he's applying to Anton Yardis in the lead now. Side by side, the nose well and truly visible in the mirrors. Is he going to have a look into turn 1? No. Team Torpedo's own Tim Hendrickson tucks in behind. Very sedate, these 5 I should say, with just the front 2 really aggressively showing the nose and really trying to apply some pressure. The other 3 perhaps waiting for the final few laps, as Tim Gorkrotcher now a lonely P6 tonight, as he is now 3.7 seconds adrift of the front 5 and a further 1.5 seconds ahead of this racy duo now of O'Fray and Cabanca. Cabanca's right up the tailpipe of the 2-plated car, O'Fray, Corey.
Back up at the lead, Alex. Antoine Artes took a very, very defensive line as they were coming onto the back straight here. Hendrickson putting all kinds of pressure on him, actually had not only just the overlap, but had his nose ahead of Antoine Artes coming into that hairpin there. We're going through Revolver, we're back to the same old with Antoine Artes in the lead again, but looks like he's also suffering the effects of some portal dysfunction, going into some alternate dimensions there to try and stay ahead of Hendrickson there, Alex.
Yeah, these guys really racing nose to tail for pretty much the entire race now. Hendrickson really putting all sorts of pressure all over Anton Yardis. That little bit of network latency there possibly putting a little bit of doubt in the mind of Hendrickson as we hop on board Team Torpedo's blue and orange racer there, and Tim Hendrickson, I should say, as he perhaps goes once again to show the nose. But yeah, just tucks up the inside this time, going to the inside, looking to get the move done, and goes to the front. Oh, will he be able to keep it on? Yes, he will. Anton Yardis cuts right back to driver's right to make sure that Toykala doesn't have any opportunity to look now. Hendrickson getting perhaps the better run out of turn 2 there, as he used all the track and more then to get that run out. Great move there by Hendrickson, now deciding to put his stamp of authority on this race as they head through Atwood Curve at the early stages of the lap, and just lap 11 with just about 3.5 to go, Corey.
And this is going to be an absolute rip snorter of a battle right now, Alex, as we can see Hendrickson going for the defensive line this time, maybe trying to scare for him, to giving him a little bit more space as they come down into the hairpin now. And Toy Carla looking like he wants to try and take that inside row in case Antoine Artes makes a mistake, which he does, running wide coming out of the hairpin and losing that second position to Toy Carla now, Alex.
Yeah, Vascalampi now putting all sorts of pressure all over. Oh, as he's off and he's collected the wall. Vascalampi's in the wall of the exit of Piper there, and that's his race done at the front end of the field. As we see now the order, the decks have been shuffled. That little bit of pressure that was applied by Hendrickson onto Anton Yardis there as they went through turn 1 there. He got the move done, and it's really set the proverbial cat amongst the pigeons literally this time. Well, it's a figurative term of course, but Anton Yardis now shuffled back down to P3 as Sammy J. Toykala has been sitting there quietly the whole time. Now he has his shot at the second step on the podium, if not the win, as there are 3 laps to go as they cross the line now. Hendrickson, Toykala, Anton Yardis, there your current provisional podium now, with Snell, oh, we've lost Vascalampi once again in the... Oh, I'll tell you what, that's not the sort of pit entry you want to make. He's doing all sorts of interesting manoeuvres in the pits there. As now we see back up the front, Toy Carla now trailing by a full 7/10. Will the Team Torpedo racer of Tim Hendrickson run away with it here tonight? As Toy Carla gets a terrible run through Atwood at turn 4, the most crucial corner on the track. And what's going to happen here is Anton Yardis is going to have a look. We might hop on board Snell there to have a look here. He's dropped off a bit as Snell, but he's still got the best vision here. Team Milo's own as he gets a clean run through the braking zone and will tuck right back in behind there. Anton Yardis getting the move done into the hairpin now as the guys get set for the final couple of laps. Corey, who's your money on?
I couldn't put my money anywhere else but Team Torpedo's own Tim Hendrickson here, Alex. He is a tried and true performer and one of the best guys that we have as far as Skippy racing goes. But, you know, I'm also going to put a little bit of money just there in the Ben Snell bucket as well. Because if these guys go 3 Hail Marys and pass the ammunition, then he is in the box seat to get himself an even better result than 4th right now, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. He's hanging on. He's doing fantastically well. Leading ANZ driver there, of course, as they take the run down into turn 1 now. Toy Carla now side by side. No, he's going to tuck in behind Anton Yardis, perhaps saving his chips to cash him in at the end of the next lap. Hendrickson now leading them through. Will this battle be, or this flame of this battle be rekindled now as the guys start heading down towards that crucial corner at Atwood turn 4 through the Moss S now. It's only counted as a single corner. It kind of looked like there's more than one corner there, but it is the Moss S at least. Now into Atwood with Anton Yardis tucked right in behind. I wonder what sort of view we're going to get from the nose of Toy Carla here. Nah, maybe we'll just hop on board the gyro and see what we can get as we see Hendrickson taking the very defensive line. Let's hop on Anton Yardis now as he pulls to the outside of Team Torpedo, the blue and orange racer. What can we get here? They're tight. Very defensive driving and very nice defensive lines, I should say, from Hendrickson there. Gets it done. Anton Yardis, Team Mivano's own, taking all sorts of pressure being applied there as they head through Piper on the run down to Redmond now. A legit passing opportunity here if you got the run. The nose being shown by Anton Yardis, but no joy there, Corey.
And this is going to be an absolutely close battle here for the final lap when they get to it, Alex. Anton Yardis is definitely wanting to get the first win of the season and put his name right up there on top of the points leaderboard. But Hendrickson, he is a rock. He's going to be so hard to pass, even with him putting 2 wheels into the dirt, 4 wheels into the dirt. Doesn't matter. Hendrickson knows how to control these skippies, Alex.
Yeah, will Anton Yardis have a look? He pulls over to the inside there, has a look. They're going to go 2 by 2. Hendrickson's not going to give it up easy there as they go 2 by 2 through 1 now, down through 2, and he cuts across to take the racing line, given every bit of room he needed there by Anton Yardis as we hop back on board. Team Mivano's Anton Yardis, and he's going to go side by side into turn 4. I'll tell you what this is going to do, if they do it, oh, there's no room there for him. Hendrickson says, no, thank you. I want to lead this final one and get the inside running into the hairpin now. What that will have done, though, is that will have opened up the door for the 2 behind as Toy Carla now sits over to driver's left. And perhaps he's going to wait and see what happens. These 2 now going to go 2 by 2, are they? Yes, they are, as they come into this final shot at the hairpin now. Hendrickson defends on the inside from Anton Yardis, forces him wide on exit. That won't give him much run through Revolver now. That will compromise his drive and really make it tough for him to get the pass done through Piper now as they head up this short back straight run into Redmond for the final time. Toy Carla now showing the nose up the inside of Anton Yardis. Snell drifting off in the background, perhaps settling for P4 now. And Henderson getting the great drive now on the approach into Hobbs, into the final or the penultimate corner here at Michael Knight at turn 10, down into the last corner. It looks like it's Hendrickson's race to lose. Anton Yardis throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him, but it is going to be Team Torpedoes, Tim Hendrickson, who leads them single file across the stripe for what has been a fantastic opening race. Season 17 goes to Tim Hendrickson. Corey. What a fantastic drive.
That was incredible, Alex. That last lap battle was definitely turning up the heat there. I noticed in the background as well, we also had a big battle brewing between Kabanga and Alfrey going down that back straight. Alfrey
Sorry.
almost had the position done.
Just look at the
and,
guys. Anyway, keep going, mate. Sorry.
yeah, Alfrey almost had the position made, but just got squeezed out there as they headed into Revolver, Alex.
All right, let me go. I'm going to jump back and see if we can pick up that battle that you're talking about. Yeah, O'Fray looking up the inside of Revolver. Kabanka taking quite a tight entry. Yeah, really said, nah, there's no room for you there, sunshine. And it was all over from there, really. Tough to get the passing done if you compromise through Revolver and Piper, and these guys just going line astern to the line there, although Frey really giving it everything he's got there. Nice tight lines there from Kabanka, making sure that there was no way through. And I tell you what, really impressed that even with some of the really strong defensive driving that we saw there, the lines were all really clean. And really quite, there wasn't a lot of contact. We saw a couple of incidents there in the mid stages, but I'll tell you what, the action was really hot up the front and really deserving of the top split race of the week. Now let's go through our results for round one of season 17 of Sunday Night Lights. Tim Hendrickson, Team Torpedo's own, has taken out round one. Gee, that was a hotly contested race between he and second place driver Fahim Antoniadis, representing Thrustmaster Mivano, of course. Last season's champion, Sammy J. Toykala, he was in the hunt at different points, but it really was Hendrickson and Antoniadis who were going tooth and nail throughout. Ben Snell, you'd almost say a lonely race in P4, if not for the fact that he had the best seat in the house, was right up there with them, representing Team Milo, of course, and the leading ANZ driver, followed closely by Top Split Racing Team's own Tim Gorkrocher in P5. I tell you what, we were worried about the overseas onslaught here, but we've got two ANZ drivers in the top five. Fantastic. And I tell you what, it represents a real significant change in the tyre model and how it is bringing back these really high quality drivers and allowing them to race freely. So fantastic result for the top five. Christian Kabanka from Breaking Bad Motorsports, all the way from the US, in P6. Julian O'Fray, the two-plated car, here tonight in P7 in that battle with Kabanka, of course. Håkon Grebstad, representing Team Ovaltine, managed to hang on for P8 after what was quite an eventful race and actually up 3 spots from where he started. Europe's own Paul Herman in P9. Cristobal Otero Roman managed to recover for a P10 finish, representing Iberia and across Simart competition. The lone Iberian, I think, in this field tonight, leading the Spanish Armada here that we're usually familiar with, but only the sole representative here tonight. Team of Escalampi, unfortunately, coming unstuck in the middle stages of the race, having to go through the pits, finishing all the way down in P11. The last season's official season winner, of course, in Timu, so not the start he was looking for. Henderson down in P12, which is the final point scoring position for Sunday Night Lights in the top split 3 splits that we score. And the strength of field's telling me 4,500, which is interesting down there at the bottom. So we did actually crack it. Look at that. P13, as we go over the page, went to Lee Anderson from UK and I. Stuart Adcock, the other ANZ driver in the field, down in P14. Tobias Olsen from Scandinavia in P15, along with Anthony Catt in 16th and Bob Van Catwick in 17th. Our 3 retirements down multiple laps there on the scoreboard, Corey. The fastest lap went to Fahim Antoniadis, not quite in the 41s, but geez, they got close. 42.1, that'd be close to the fastest lap of the week, I would have thought. With the strength of field apparently cracking the 4,500 mark, Corey, and that's certainly our strongest race in SNL history and the strongest race of the season so far.
Yeah, and the level of skill that these drivers showed tonight here, Alex, with how defensive they were, but how safe they were still being, it really just goes to speak to the fact that these guys are so high on the totem pole as far as I rating goes. I mean, you don't get this high by driving like the proverbial, but it definitely shows that these guys have got their heads screwed on here tonight.
Yeah, that they do, mate. As we just jump to the replay mode while we grab some of the drivers who are waiting in the green room. We tend to go in finishing order here, so we're going to bring up Team Torpedo's own Tim Hendrickson.
Hello.
Tim, mate, there was some action going on up there at the front. You and Fahim Antoniadis put on quite a show up there for the folks at home. Tell us, what was it like in your seat?
Um, Interesting, that's for sure. Yeah, it was an interesting battle, especially after coming out of the race before this. We had some disagreements, let's just say. So I wasn't going to be nice this race, and I really, the early on, I was like more self-preservation because I knew he wouldn't give me any space because he kept moving into me on the straight. So I'm like, yeah, you do you, buddy, whatever. And then later in the race, when I saw my chance to just take the lead and keep it, I went for it, and yeah, it went pretty well. Really happy with the result.
Yeah, mate. Look, a lot of points on offer there. Bit of I rate. Not often you can crack 50 plus I rating in a race at your
Whew.
level, mate. So that's a good one. But yeah, look, can I tell you, you two were going hammer and tong the whole way. You know, no quarters asked or given, and it was certainly a fantastic display. A little bit of contact here and there, but nothing terribly consequential. And I thought that the pace that you guys held was, the fastest on track, even though you were battling it. Really goes to show the speed that was on out there made it look very hot.
Yeah, regarding the contact, I'm pretty sure I always left space or at least stuck to my braking zone and hit my apexes when I needed to, when we were too wide. I did feel like he just kept missing his apex just to put me off. Because every time I saw him every time I was on the outside of the back straight hairpin, I just felt like he completely missed his apex just to, I don't know if it was to make a statement or what he was trying to achieve. It slowed us both down, and it wasn't really, I don't know. I'll have to look at it after the race.
Yeah, well, the cold light of day might put some perspective on things, mate, but certainly didn't seem to slow you guys down. I mean, I haven't seen a faster lap than a 42.1, which was the best lap around here tonight. So, and certainly in the 42s on lap one, a quali is pretty impressive. Or lap two is pretty impressive, let alone lap one. So there was a bit of that around tonight, and there was plenty on display. But congratulations, mate! You've taken out
Thank you.
the highest strength of field for the week, highest strength of field for the season thus far, and the highest strength of field in the ANZ soft race history, mate. So congratulations on that, representing Team
Oh,
Torpedo, of course. So before we let you go, mate, anyone like to give a shout out to?
well, I like Team Torpedo for being as supportive as they always are. It's a fantastic team. If you want to watch us all race, I mean, we're usually racing together at twitch.tv/trash ketchum lol. So if you want to, listen to some sick bands, that's where we usually hang out.
Nice one. All right, thanks, Tim. Look forward to catching you in the coming weeks, mate, and hopefully some further good results coming your way.
I'm going for the championship, baby.
Here we go. Thanks, Tim. There you go, Corey. Team Torpedoes, Tim Hendrickson taking out a fantastic look. I'll tell you what, there was some, I'm going to say, aggressive racing there between he and Antoniadis, but be interesting to get Antoniadis' perspective, actually. Actually, I'll bring him up straight away and we'll see what the well-spoken Englishman's got to say. Fahim, welcome to back to the Top Split TV commentary booth, representing Thrustmaster Mivano, of course. Geez, there was some tight racing there between you and Hendrickson. Some hot, fast, skillful racing out there as well, and you almost pulled it out of the hat there at the end, mate.
Yeah, it was really good fun. It was pressure all the way through, as both for him and I guess, all the way to the flag, wasn't it? But I think, for me, there were two mistakes I made in this whole session. First was in qualifying, I didn't complete a lap two because I had a silly off track in a place where I shouldn't really, nobody should have an off track there, but it happened, and that was, and up to that point, I was 1.5 tenths up on my previous lap. So, see, pole goes to the guy who keeps it together, and Tim kept it together. And then the other mistake I made is having passed Tim. I can't remember how many laps. I think it was 7 laps in for first. he was quite close behind me coming onto the front straight. And I left, I kind of saw the move coming, and I don't know why I didn't close it off, but I just kind of inevitably let it be and let him pass me there. And then, as you know, it's very difficult to retake that pass going into the hairpin. And I almost pulled it off a lap before, but going into the hairpin, I kind of had the momentum coming off it to have to be able to get the inside line for the first of the left-handers. But I wasn't sure if he was going to, because he was squeezing me into the hairpin lap after lap, not giving any room. And I kind of figured that he would be squeezing me there as well into the left hander. So I took a tight enough line. If I had taken a slightly wider line, I would have had the inside for for the next two left-handers, and I don't think there's much he would have been able to do there. But I wasn't trusting that there was a going to be enough room left. But yeah, so two mistakes on my part, one mistake on his to let me through. In the end, he held it together and won.
Yeah, mate. Well, I've got to tell you, that first lap you put down in quali was good enough for second on the grid, which is outstanding in the current state of the Skippy, I have to say. And getting in the 42s on your second lap, let alone your first, is pretty outstanding. The racing out there was fantastic. Do you know what's more fantastic, mate? It's great to see the Skippy community coming back and uniting behind this new build of the car, and people like yourself back in amongst it, putting on a great show. So thank you once again for joining us here tonight, mate. And before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to shout out to?
Yeah, of course, my team, Thrustmaster Movano, for what's going to be a very exciting season for us. They keep getting podiums in all the top categories in enduro racing. So they're a serious team, and here I am in the little Skippy coming up with my little coloring in books and showing them, say, look what I've done, and they keep patting me on the back. Go on off, Sonny Jim. But I'm very happy to be a junior part of the team because, like you, I love the Skippy, and I don't think there's any point in diluting my ability into another car where I'm enjoying this one so much. So, thanks, Thrustmaster, and thanks to you guys for the wonderful broadcast.
Awesome. Thanks, Fahim, mate. And welcome back. And we look forward to talking to you in the coming weeks, mate.
Take care.
There you go, Corey, for him joining us once again in the Skippy now that the ship has been set aright, so to speak, with the way the car's running. And great to see him back out there. And if we get some more racing like that, mate, bring it on.
Well, holy dooly, Alex. One thing I can definitely take from that is that Hendrickson definitely throwing down the gauntlet, and Antoinata's, even with all the pace that he's got, Hendrickson's going to be tough to beat this season. But it'll be interesting to see how these guys battle it out throughout the entire Sunday night season here.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, mate. We're going to bring up young Master Snell now, who's grabbed a great result here. Mr. Ben Snell, welcome to the Top Split TV commentary booth, mate. That was a good result back in the new Skippy. Great qualifying, hung on to it the whole race. I don't think I saw any dirt kicked up or some tyre smoke there, mate, but a great result there in P4.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me. And boy, I love this car. It's so much better than the old one.
That's awesome, mate. Look, I said at one point I felt like it was almost a lonely race for you there, just sitting on the back there biding your time. I don't know if you were hanging on because the pace looked so hot up front, mate. Even though they were going 2x2, they were still setting the fastest laps of the race at different times, or whether you were just biding your time and the opportunity just didn't present.
There's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I definitely, I had the pace to be there, but I didn't have the pace to move forward. Definitely. I definitely thought that for him and Tim were gonna absolutely murder each other, especially down the back straight. But unfortunately, I didn't get my Bradbury tonight.
Yeah, mate, it didn't quite work out in the end. I thought, those two were going side by side through so many corners. I thought it was almost inevitable, much like yourself. So I thought the wisdom that you were showing there was going to pay off. But unfortunately, only at the expense of Vascalampy, of course, did you make those positions, and those two were able to hold it on. Oh, I say unfortunately for you, but fortunately for the race because they put on a great show, mate. But look, welcome back to season 17. Great to see you up the pointy end at the start and the finish, mate. And hopefully many more weeks to come likewise. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go, mate?
Of course, you guys, as usual, for putting on the broadcast. It's no surprise that we're getting the strongest strength of fields of the week now. It's bringing some amazing racing in, and of course, go Team Milo, and welcome to our newest members, and John Skoltz and Luke Witten, and hopefully we'll see a sea of green sometime later in the season when maybe some of the stricter fields drop off a little bit.
Well, I'm hoping we build, to be honest, but I'm hoping we bring some of the locals like Luke and Skolty with us. Certainly Luke Witten, this car's agreeing with. So I expect to see him in the top split before too long. So thanks again, Ben, and we look forward to talking to you in the coming weeks.
Thanks for having me.
There you go, Corey, Team Milo's own Ben Snell. Great drive from him. I'm really chuffed to see him at the pointy end of these events because he's a high-quality driver and he stuck it out with us last season. And now the car's coming to him with this new build. You know, he's showing what he's got.
Yeah, and it's definitely excellent to see Ben right up there towards the pointy and not necessarily battling with the top guys, but just making himself there or thereabouts. He could be in for a very consistent season. And as he said, if we do get a field drop off in any way, shape, or form, he's probably right there in the box seat to maybe possibly get a win here in SNL, Alex.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I just caught a bit of an incident with our next interview guest there. I think this might be why he was a bit further down the field than we used to. Mr. Tim Gorcrotcher, mate. I was just having to catch a point in the replay where you're having an incident into Atwood, but you've managed to claw your way back for a top 5 finish. How was the racing out there for you tonight?
Hey, you just have to clarify which turn Atwood is.
Oh, sorry, turn 4. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I got caught up on maybe lap 5 with Powell, I think his name is. But I think my version of events differs from his. He was a little bit vocal in the game, but oh well. But no, things went okay. I didn't qualify well enough. Ultimately, is what it came down to. And then trying to make my way through was a little bit harder than I would have liked, and it felt, I don't know, it just took ages for me to come good. So and I did at the end. I was happy with the pace, but 4 seconds behind 4th. So anyway, it's all right. New car's fun. Challenging to drive at the start. I just can't figure out how those guys are going so fast in quali. Maybe there's something they know that I don't.
Yeah, mate, I tell you what, those times in quali, I was just saying, I've said it a few times. I mean, Anton Yardis stuck it in second P2 off his first lap with a 42.8, I think it was, which is crazy fast. But yeah, look, it's certainly bringing out the pace and the hot racing, that's for sure. And you know what I was really pleased with tonight, mate, was that yourself and Ben, 2 ANZ drivers in the top 5. You know, we were all worried that we were going to get swamped by the overseas drivers, but 2 in the top 5 is a great way to kick off the season.
Truth be told, I was hoping Ben had been it so I could pick up those extra 20 odd championship points. And, I know he's really good at it. So, but no, he did great. He was, he deserved to be up there. He qualified well and hung on, looks like, without any issues at all. So good on him. And, yeah, no, looking forward to Road Atlanta next week.
All right, mate. Thanks for your support of the series once again, mate. Anyone like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Look, I appreciate Corey for stepping in tonight for probably the 5th or 6th week in a row, so that I could have a race. I copped a bit of flack for not commentating or racing, so sorry, Hendrickson. And yeah, hopefully be back next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim. We look forward to seeing you there, mate.
Thanks, gentlemen.
There you go, Corey. That was Top Split's own Tim Gorcrotcher. Nice P5 for him. Obviously still coming to grips with the car tonight, but I expect him to go nowhere but forward during the rest of the season.
Well, to be honest, Alex, I'd much rather see him on track battling it out for the top split orders than up here in the booth. But he does do an excellent job when he is up here in the booth. And I am very glad to have him as someone to fall back on when I have either PC issues or am too sick to be up here with you. But he's definitely one of the best steerers we've got. And the fact that he was able to claw his way back to 5th after all that drama that went on in the middle of the race definitely speaks to his talent as a driver, Alex.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing more of it. Our final interview tonight down in P8 with quite an eventful race by the look of it was Mr. Håkon Grebstad, Team Ovaltine's own Håkon. Bit of action out there for you
Yes,
tonight.
sir. A little bit too much for my liking. Anyway, yeah, had to deal with a bit of unfortunate things.
Yeah, mate, you did, starting in P11, up 3 spots, so probably not where you wanted to qualify either.
Nah, for some reason I just can't get the second lap together, and that just puts me way back in the order. And yeah, one little mistake by me, and then having people not give me room, and then the crash and the hairpin, which cost me time. Everything just didn't work out.
Yeah, well, ultimately, mate, still back on the road to 4KI rating tonight with a bit of a kick along, even from P8. Strongest field of the week by a long shot. So hopefully, mate, onwards and upwards from here. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, got to thank you guys for putting on the series. And yeah, hopefully it's the track that makes me slow and not the car.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, mate, thanks for joining us, and we'll speak to you again in the coming weeks.
See you around, Alex.
There you go, Corey. That's our final interview for the week. And that's about it for us, mate. Any final thoughts on our opening week's foray into the new Skip Barber?
Well, one thing to take out of this, Alex, is that it definitely seems that the new tyre model and even just the way that the Skippy is full stop for this season has been met with very, very positive feedback. As you said in the pre-race there is still a little bit of working that needs to be done, but we're definitely taking a big step in the right direction. The racing tonight was absolutely phenomenal, and it's going to be awesome to see what transpires this season.
Yeah, absolutely right, Corey. I'm looking forward to every minute of it. Just want to say thank you to everyone on track and off for their support so far as we enter into season 17. Of course, you can find us at all the places you can see on your screen at the moment. This broadcast replay will, of course, be on YouTube at the Top Split YouTube channel. Check out the podcast. Corey and I did a season 16 wrap in the last week or so. No doubt we'll be keeping you up to date with all things SNL at the Top Split podcast. Join us in the Discord server, which is where we do the interviews and the broadcast from, and we'll keep you up to date on Facebook, of course. And you can find us doing our racing here and at other places. Corey, give yourself a bit of a promo. Where can the folks see you on Twitch?
You guys can find me at twitch.tv/Corey Has No Life 13. We will put up a mature content warning. I have some of the most colorful language that you can ever hear in a stream. So, if you're the faint of heart as far as language goes, probably give it a miss.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey. All right, folks. Thank you, those at home who've joined us and made us really thrilled with your company here tonight. We'll be back same bat time, same bat channel next week. So keep your eye out there and either join us on track or here for the live broadcast as we head to Road Atlanta for round 2. But until then, I've been your host, Alex McKellar, on behalf of my co-commentator, Corey Steinhauser, I wish you good night and ciao for now.